Often, when the topic of slavery within the United States is being discussed, the question, why do you guys never want to talk about the blacks that owned slaves, does come into play. It's actually a topic that I don't mind discussing because it's part of our history. There is a reason that you normally don't hear about black folk owning slaves within the United States. That's because, according to census reports, only 0.5% of slaves owned in the United States were owned by black folk. And 70 to 80% of the black folk who did own slaves, they only owned 1 to 3 slaves. They weren't running plantations or anything like that. They were purchasing their family members because that was the only way that they could free their family members. Wives, children, mothers, fathers. That's who they purchased. That's who 70 to 80% of black slave owners owned. And every transaction had to be documented as a sale, hence black slave owners. Now, yes, there were a handful of black folk who were able to rise to some sort of prominence and get a plantation and get slaves in order to work that plantation. But even those few, when I say few, I mean few, even those few, the slaves that they purchased were family members, friends, friends of friends, and that sort. So yes, blacks did own slaves within the United States, but their impact on the slave trade within the United States was very minimal. And that's the reason that it's normally not discussed.